Have you been watching all the incredible upsets that have been happening in college football this year? You know, it all started off just a few short weeks ago with Appalachian State beating Michigan. I mean, Appalachian State, where are they from? Who are they? And they come into the big house in Ann Arbor and just smack Michigan into submission. Unbelievable what happened there. And then look what followed immediately following Appalachian State. Look at these huge upsets. Stanford beats my team, USC. Oh my goodness, unbelievable. Followed by USC, then what happens next? Oregon State beats Cal. And if that wasn't enough all in the same time period, is what does LSU do? They lose to Kentucky. So Appalachian State starts this whole domino effect, and boom, 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 one after another, look what happens. And you know what? Appalachian State, you have to hand it to them because they believed that they could do it. They did it. And then what happened with Stanford? What happened with Oregon State? What happened with Kentucky? Is, you know what? They're looking over at Appalachian State and saying, you know what? If that guy can do it, if those guys can do it, so can we. And guess what happened? Boom. That's what happened. Exactly. Now, Appalachian State is today's Roger Bannister story. Now, for those of you that don't know about Roger Bannister, think back into the early 1950s. Nobody ever had beat the 4-minute mile. And then in 1954, Bannister comes forward and declares to the world. Now, declaring means he's setting his goal. And he's declaring, he's setting the goal, he's declaring the goal to the world. And what does Bannister say? Is I'm going to beat the 4-minute mile. And guess what happened? He did it. Everybody thought he was nuts. The educators, the athletes, all the sports people in the world back in the mid-50s thought Bannister was nuts, but he was the first person to beat the 4-minute mile. Then what happened? The next 12 months preceding Bannister breaking that 4-minute mile, over 30 people broke that record. And today, there's over 20,000 people. 20,000 people, including many high school athletes, that have beat that record. What was it? It was belief. It wasn't anything else but belief. In fact, I want to just quote here from what Bannister said. They asked him, when asked how it was possible for so many people to run the 4-minute mile so soon afterwards that he broke the record, Bannister said, it was not a physical boundary, but only a mental one. Only a mental one. So think about that. Think about as salespeople, do we have these mental roadblocks that show up on these self-imposed limitations that get into our way? We absolutely do. All of you can increase your sales. You can do better. You can perform at higher levels if you want to. So what I want to do is, instead of spending a bunch of time, I want to give you 7 things that will help you increase your level of belief. Number 1 is write down and set, and then declare your goals. I mean, it's just like Zig Ziglar says, either you're a motivated, goal-oriented person getting things done, or you're just a wandering generality. And that's why you need to set, and then in many cases, declare your goals to the world. So that's number 1. Number 2, you must have that white-hot burning desire to succeed. Again, in the sales world, 95% of the salespeople just kind of hang out and exist. 5%, and maybe even sometimes in a smaller percentage than even that 5, is that you have that white-hot burning desire to succeed. You'll do whatever it takes, as long as it takes, as long as it's in with integrity, and then you'll perform at that white-hot burning desire level. Number 3, reprogram yourself with positive, powerful self-talk. It's just like the old train story. I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. Boom. You need to have that reprogram yourself with that positive, powerful self-talk on a daily basis. Just recently, one of my students was having an off week. He had no belief in himself. He had no belief in his industry. He had to start reprogramming himself just that specific week that he can do it. So very powerful. Number 4, hang out with winners, not with whiners. Hang out with winners, not whiners. Just the other day, I go into a restaurant here in Dallas, and I come across this young lady who is in the real estate industry, which has actually taken a turn lately. And she'd been in one of my seminars recently. And I'll tell you what, it was like listening to Darth Vader. I felt like saying, you know what, real estate people, either start selling or shut up. I mean, it's that simple. And I don't want to be mean about it, But what you do with your energy is your choice. And you either need to be positive even in the rough times, or forget it. You don't need to go off on these negative tangents. So be very, very careful about whining versus hanging out with winners. Number 5 is maintain a confident appearance and attitude as it relates to everything that you're doing. And having that level of confidence, having that high level of enthusiasm like we discussed last week, starts with an extremely strong personal foundation. And I have an assessment for you. If you go to getsalesresultsnow.com and click open this video and go through the article, there's a free assessment there it's called Clean Sweep that will help you as far as it relates to having that confidence personally and as well as professionally. Number 6, implement good habits in really good and great self-daily disciplines, like getting to your office early, starting your sales calls early. If you're going to and from an office every day, utilizing the phone to be in touch with clients, going above board to stay in constant communication with your contacts, all those kind of things. So have great habits and great sales disciplines as well. And number 7 is become passionate about you, your company, and your products. Those 3 things that have so much to do in the whole sales process. You, your company, and your products. And again, we talked about it last week. But you got to have a high level of enthusiasm. And if you don't, leave. Go find something else. But be passionate about what it is that you do. Every once in a while I'll receive communication from either a CEO or a sales vice president in regards to one of their salespeople struggling. And you know what? In just about every case, it boils down to a couple things. 1, self-imposed limitations that the salesperson has put on themselves. Or 2, is that they do not have belief in themselves that they can do what it takes to make their sales. So self-imposed limitations, you add that belief factor on there. Belief is so huge as it relates to that. So be aware of those things that go on that prevent you from going forward with higher sales and higher profits, because you've imposed those self-imposed limitations, and or your belief is in the tank and really needs to be worked on. So, in closing, belief is a strong motivator. Look at Appalachian State. They had it. They come out and they spank Michigan in Ann Arbor, and then look at the cascading effect. They basically Stanford's sitting there going, if those guys can do it, I can do it. Oregon State, if those guys can do it, I can do it. And look at Kentucky, against LSU. Kentucky's sitting there going, if they can do it, I can do it. And that same powerful thing as Roger Bannister. Nobody ever beat that 4-minute mile. And then, the 12 months following that milestone in our history, we have over 30 other people, and now today over 20,000. And those same principles, as it applies to sports, applies to you with your own self-belief. So today I encourage you to really tune into those 7 tips that I've given you today. Do the assessments that are provided at the bottom of this article, and I know that your belief will increase by tenfold if you work on those on a daily basis. When you increase your belief, your sales will increase. Your profits increase, and more importantly, if you got a great product or service or benefit for your clients, they get to benefit from that as well. So highly impactful, highly powerful to have that great belief in place. And last but not least, I just want to remind you, if you're looking for sales seminars, if you need individualized sales coaching, if you need sales management consulting, in other words, if you're a sales manager with a staff of 50 salespeople and you need some help, I'm the guy to talk to. And last but not least, a whole menu of incredible sales tools and sales services, from fast fax profiles to websites to the all-new and powerful video communication, chuckbauer.com or getsalesresultsnow.com. With that, I wish you Godspeed, good selling, and have a great week filled full of authentic belief that's going to propel you to newer heights. Take care for now. Bye-bye.